Viticulture World, this is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over Viticulture World and how it plays with 2 players. Now Viticulture World is a 1 to 6 player expansion for the game Viticulture. Now I'm going to caveat that by saying you do need a previous copy of Viticulture. We had the Essential Edition, but you can also use the Tuscany expansion, the Moors expansion, any other of the expansions with this game. But you do need the base, at least a base copy of Viticulture. It does come with a new board, it comes with some new cards, it comes with some new hats, and it comes with 7 scenarios. So let's dive in a little bit more how to play. So in Viticulture World, it's going to be a cooperative expansion to Viticulture. You're going to be working alongside other people. Now, I'm not going to go into the full explanation of Viticulture. However, I am going to tell you some of the differences between this and Viticulture Essential Edition. We just have the Essential Edition, we don't have the Tuscany expansion. So what's going to happen instead is you're going to choose one of the 7 continents. One of them is actually Green Gully from Charterstone, since Antarctica really doesn't count as far as, there's not really much winemaking in Antarctica. So you're going to choose a scenario and you're going to read the introduction and setup just like it says, and you're going to have 6 years to accomplish your goal. So you're going to have 6 summers and 6 winters to place your people, and every time a spring event would happen, you're just going to flip the card and read it. So you get 6 cards with 6 years. And then another new part about this is these innovation tiles. These can enhance certain actions. If you buy and put the rectangular tile out there, or it allows you to put some trained workers, which I'll get to in a second, out there with these oval tiles. The wake up track is a little bit different. It's just this circular track here in the bottom, but it still determines who goes first when. And then you have a different fall action. So in between the summer and the winter, you both get to do something a little bit different. Now, as you can tell, some of these meeples have little hats on them, which I think is really funny. If they have a yellow hat, they can only be used in the summer. And if they have a blue hat, they can only be used in the winter. So you're going to get 2 summer meeples, you're going to get 2 winter meeples, and the El Grande. The El Grande is kind of your trump card where you can put it anywhere you want. Now in a 2-player game, only one person can go to each spot until you get these oval tiles, and then you can also train your workers. Now, it's a little bit sad training your workers. You take the hat off, which is a little bit sad to me, but then they can be used in the summer or winter and hop on one of these oval tiles. Other than that, you're really trying to work with the other person. It's a standard game of viticulture. You're still going to be planting your wine. You're still going to be using your visitor actions, your summer and winter cards. You're still going to be filling these orders. It's really viticulture, except instead of 20 points, you both need to reach 25 points. Or every player needs to reach the 25 points, and this influence token needs to reach 10. Now this influence token can be advanced with some of these campaign cards, or you can pay 8 money, in the winter time to advance this token. So a little bit extra pressure. But as far as winning the game, both players have to be progressing, or all players, sorry. I'm just thinking about the 2-player. And you're really just playing a game of viticulture with a different event, some different of these innovation tiles, different wake-up track, and you have 6 years to complete all your goals. So let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So the components in this game, I do really like the hats. The hats come in this game. They replace a couple of these mini cards with a few extra cards, and they give you 7 scenarios. So not a ton of extra components. They do give you, I take that back, they do give you a whole new board to play on, and the other side, like I said, is for Tuscany. So but you're going to be using a lot of the old components that you already have. The rules and references are great. It didn't take me much time to read. It assumes you already know how to play viticulture, which is pretty pivotal. You do need to know how to play the base game. But the references and getting it to the table are pretty easy, and just like Viticulture, about the same amount of time. As far as table size is going to be the same as Viticulture. You could probably fit this on a 3x3, but it'd be a little bit tight. Let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. The gameplay is pretty fun. With two, you're really tight and saying, are you going to go here? Am I going to go here? What are you going to do in the spring? And where are you going to wake up in the spring? Where are you going to go in the summer? Do we need to reference that event card? What do we need to do this round? And I think that's really neat with two players. Sometimes you step on each other's toes, because in a 2 to 3 player game, only one meeple can go to each spot unless they start training the workers, getting these oval, or using your pivotal El Grande at the right time to you can take any action. But this game is very tight. We have played 5 scenarios. 5 different scenarios. We've won 3 of them and lost 2. Now, every single time we have lost by 1 to 2 victory points. I think one time we lost by 1 influence. But usually when we win, we also barely win. So this game is super tight for 2. It's not forgiving. It's very tough, very interactive. Really worker placement at its max. But you're also, just like my problem with Viticulture, you're still at the whim of these visitor cards. Sometimes you just get the bad luck of the draw with the visitor cards, and you just have to adapt and be able to maneuver around it. But sometimes you're looking for that blue visitor card that gets you a couple victory points to put you over the edge. So it's still fun, it's still Viticulture, but you're still at the whim of some of the draw piles. Now, with 2, I will say these innovation tiles, picking 1 or 2 of them up may be all that we do for the whole game. It's really tight and tough to want to do this every turn, where I can definitely see in a 3+, in a 4+, even in a 5-player game, these tiles become crucial that you get them out so people can go there. But in a 2-player game, man, you just don't have enough actions to do these sometimes. So a new thing that this introduced is these innovation tiles. But man, in a 2-player game, it's just hard to come out with some of the good ones. And if you get a bad luck of the draw, there's a big stack to come out every single year. You really want those first couple years to really grow into the game. So that's one little, hard part about the 2-player is these do feel impactful, but they'd be more impactful in a higher player count where more people get to experience these innovation tiles. Let's talk about the replayability. So it comes with 7 scenarios in the box. That's awesome. Each one of them does play a little bit different. Great. But you're still playing Viticulture in the end. So if you don't like the base game, you're not really going to enjoy the cooperative expansion. And that's what, I'm not super hot on Viticulture. I do enjoy it. I think it's a great game. I think it's a great worker placement game. But as I said in my original review, it's all based on what cards you draw. Those are the replayability factor, is what kind of, I drew these certain vines, I need to get these certain buildings, my summer cards let me do X, Y, and Z, I need to fill these orders from these purple cards, or same thing with the blue, drawing these cards and thinking, I hope these give me victory points. You're still at the whim of some of those cards. And like I said, if you don't like that in Viticulture, you're not going to like that here. The replayability, though, is enhanced by the different scenarios you're going to get. And they do play a little bit different, but the core game is still going to be Viticulture from game to game. Each one of these games took us about an hour and a half to play, and we thought that was pretty reasonable. Now, as far as expansions, like I said, we just have the Essential Edition. A lot of people love Tuscany and love the Moors expansion, and I think they could be purchases down the line if you love, you know, the Essential Edition and you want to upgrade. I heard that does add a lot. Like I said, I've never experienced it, so but from what I can tell, people enjoy it. And the whole other side of the board uses just the Tuscany, you know, kind of Essential Edition expansion. So this does allow for you to expand your game from what you have. So in the end, is this game good for 2? Man, that is a tough question, because we have had a good time with this game, but after 5 playthroughs, I think we're ready to put it up. And I don't know if you guys know this about us, but we like to have games on the table for a while. We don't have any kids. We just have our little dog running around. So we can have these games on the table for 1 to 2 weeks at a time. That's why we don't put out videos, you know, super often, because we like to play each game, you know, several times before we review it. And this game, I think, has run its course for a little bit. Yes, we have 3 scenarios left to play. We had to play one twice over to make sure we could beat it. And there's still a lot that comes in the box, but you have to love Viticulture to want this game. This doesn't add, you know, fully revamp the gameplay, if you will. We had a good time with it. We really enjoyed it, but it comes with a caveat. It's still Viticulture. How many times can you play Viticulture before you get a little bit, you know, cool down on it a little bit? Now, like I said, with the higher player counts, I can see this game being amazing. I can see, you know, the worker placement, you know, once you get into the 4 or more player count, 2 people can go to every spot. Training workers in a 2-player game was kind of hit or miss, because we didn't really step on each other's toes that much. The crucial yoke is one of the most you know, utilized buildings that you can build in 2-player, so you don't have to, one person doesn't have to spend an action to harvest the field, or one person can harvest the field, one person can yoke, and it's just, it's a good game, but it's just, I don't know, there's something missing. And like I said, if you don't love Viticulture, you may not love the Viticulture World. So I still enjoy getting the mama and papa, the variable start, you know, the worker placement. The working with somebody was really big. I did enjoy that in the 2-player, is you really did get to work with the other person really well. Everything was laid out straightforward. It's just, you really need to enjoy Viticulture to get this expansion. I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest, but I will say though, as far as the tightness of this game with 2 players, it is tight. Like I said, we've only won by 1 or 2 victory points over all the games, and we've only lost by 1 or 2. So that 6th turn where you're thinking, how am I going to get 8 victory points, and we're going to increase this influence marker 3 times, it really becomes a puzzle. By the 6th turn, the beginning, you know, the springtime of the 6th year, you almost know if you can win or not. And so I won't take up too much of your time. I know I rambled on a lot, but I have a lot of feelings about this game. And this game for 2, I think it's a good game, just slightly underwhelming. However, for the higher player counts, adding some of these innovation tiles and deciding how you're going to plan out the events and the wake up track, this game can be super interactive for higher player counts. For 2, slightly interactive, but you kind of know what we need to do. So a different take on the cooperative expansion. So that was my review for Viticulture World. Like I said, don't know if I can fully recommend this game, but if you like it, if you like Viticulture, you know, especially for us, the Essential Edition, pick up this and give it a try. So that was my review for Viticulture World, and until next time.